Alright, so I understand. Goji Guy also made a Can the King Titan Survive the Monsterverse video and stuff like that, and I've seen all his other Monsterverse takes as well. They're alright, they're his opinion, but again, you guys know why we're here. We got to get this information down pat because I'm kind of confused on how hard this was to understand, given the arc lore is very simple. Now, again, do I agree with Mechagodzilla outright beating the King Titan? Absolutely not. He's literally one of the weakest Monsterverse villains out there. And again, I understand he also thinks Monsterverse Mechagodzilla can beat Monsterverse Ghidorah somehow when they're not comparable, like in the least here, especially when it comes to like feats and tiers and stuff like that. But hey, it's neither here nor there. So today we're going to be talking about not only this information, but I'm going to give you guys the honest truth, if not the horrific truth, about why the Mega Mech itself is actually superior to Godzilla. So keep in mind about one little thing. I do not care how anyone runs their channel. We are simply here because the information presented was false and it was actually easy to get. So let's start off with the basics. What is extinction itself? Well, extinction is actually confirmed to be planet Earth. You know, our Earth, our planet, yeah. Just much more advanced and everything, all right? So extinction is not an island, it is the planet Earth itself here, with a few arcs attached to it, okay? The King Titan would actually scale to this as, again, he put the Earth in a tidal lock confirmed by the creator. So the tidal lock is basically putting the Earth in like a slow rotation, right? Able to keep its rotation kind of in like a, I guess you could say, a crawl, right? Not even just like a simple crawl, kind of like crawling at a snail's pace, if you will. So which is why the Earth is kind of the way it is right now. And ultimately, it does not have an atmosphere because of the Earth's rotation, the Earth's rotation actually being gone. But let's talk about the Mega Mech itself, right? The Mega Mech is the pinnacle of ARC's technology. Keep in mind, basic mechs, which I actually found this out as well, are actually, pretty simple like Jaegers, except much more advanced, right? You see, only one person needs to pilot it. And in the lore, you, yes, you, are actually fighting alongside the likes of Mayan and Helena in their mech as they help you as your mech basically soloed a good majority of the Titans. So you're him. I'm just going to put that out there. You're just simply him. And keep in mind, we're talking about these Titans. So it's very possible that the Titan species as a whole is a lot more diverse. So I actually do want like more modded Titans other than the Sulfur Titan, which actually would be canon concerning the lore. But with that being said here, we also know that in Arc that they were using black hole technology in order to basically try and damage the Titans. And the results of that basically destroyed the moon. Not vaporized or anything, but straight up tore through it like it was nothing. Like we even see this in the game where the moon is straight up just torn to pieces by the technology itself here. And keep in mind, none of these technological blasts, none of these black hole technology was able to harm the Titans, right? And this would actually go back to the regular bosses, considering the black hole technology is actually capable of killing the Arc bosses. Not in one shot, mind you, which would have been a 10 times difference. But again, you're able to kill the Arc bosses and even injure them with this kind of technology, whereas you can't with the Titans. However, this is where the mechs come in. The mechs would scale relative, if not probably a little bit stronger than the likes of the Dreadnoughtus. The Dreadnoughtus is actually capable of 1v1ing the Ice Titan and actually injuring it. Yeah, it actually causes an injury to the Ice Titan. And funny enough, this means that the Dreadnoughtus would scale 10 times stronger than that of the basic black hole technology. And keep in mind, black holes, even at a small level, still have more density than the entire planet, meaning that you could easily get the moon feet to around dwarf star level quite casually, considering the fact that they destroyed it entirely, and the Titans were immune to an absurd amount of bombardment from the black hole technology. Okay? And keep in mind as well, Mechagodzilla does not scale to the full strength of Godzilla and possibly even Kong as well here. Considering the fact that I think we all kind of understood that Godzilla did not recover at all. Godzilla's running on fumes at this point here. He's got enough power, don't get me wrong, to keep fighting and stuff because he could still do his atomic breath. But keep in mind, he's not in the best conditions. Neither is Kong either. They both been drugged up or have been consistently fighting. Keep in mind, Godzilla went around the world fighting against other Titans to make sure they abolished their rivalries because he didn't want another case with Ghidorah. And keep in mind, he didn't really get a solid rest after Ghidorah either. So Mechagodzilla, or saying Mechagodzilla would at the very least scale to even the Hollow Earth, I kind of find that a bit fishy, right? And yes, he does use a small portion of Hollow Earth energy. But keep in mind, Godzilla and Kong also have this biological adaptation to the Hollow Earth as they use it as their own little version of the door or pretty much a gate. It's like a DNA security pad, right? Where you can just put your finger on it and then you could just go by the door. Okay? And this was confirmed in the novelization, which basically details what's going on in the movies themselves. So, with Godzilla and Kong being able to bypass the Hollow Earth, this does mean they do get to around the Dwarf Star levels, at least during that time period. I do think they surpass that by the time GXK comes around. All right, they should have been able to surpass that considering. And keep in mind, Ghidorah and Shimo would also be on those levels relatively as well. And so this means that not only would they would actually scale to the basic Titans like Ice, Forest, and Desert, but this means the King Titan is just astronomically above that. I want you to think about that real quick. If the moon busting feat is around Dwarf Star level, the Titans scale above this kind of feat, right? So this means you can definitely get any Titan to probably star level as well. But again, let's say Dwarf Star level for safety, or for just kind of a low ball here. And the Mech is actually able to beat the basic Titans, and the Mega Mech is superior to that of the Mechs that are able to beat the Titans in a good fight. But with the Mega Mech, you're able to demolish them, meaning you have a significant difference over the Titans. Probably not really too much of a quantifiable one. I'd probably say like a 5, maybe even 7 times difference, but enough to actually be able to defeat the Titans at the end of the day. Meaning that the Mega Mech would basically be able to one-tap Godzilla with a sword swing. And the King Titan scales right back to the Mega Mech. Get what I mean? But that's going to be all today, you guys. I understand this was a bit short, but again, this was basic information. But with that being said, please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends, and you guys have a blessed day. Peace.